All right. Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for tuning in today. Lions Talk Live. You know what? Hey, we got a little bit of a topic to throw at you guys today. The top 10 Lions players for offense in today's show. We're going to go through position by position, try to break it all down, see what you guys have as far as thoughts on this. But hey, I thought it'd be something fun, something interesting, something different. So we go through each of the positions, quarterback, et cetera, for at least anybody we anticipate Detroit Lions have in the top 10 list of their respective positions. I think you're going to be surprised just how many Detroit Lions actually make the list. I'm trying to get a couple things handled here because we're getting a little feedback on air. I'm trying to get that cleaned up. Mike Hutch Jr. will try to join us at the bottom of the hour. Not 100% sure he's going to be able to make it on. He did request it, so I did send him out an opportunity or a link, I guess you'd say, to join us. We'll see if he can actually make the show. All right, a couple of things before we get into the meat of today's video. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're trying to make a push to get to 6,800 subs, so if you can help out with that, that'd be great. Also, if you would, take a moment out of your day, hit the thumbs up button. It helps the channel out a lot. We try to get each video between 200 to 300 likes or more, so if you can help out with that. Last but never least, I am outside of being a coach, a YouTuber, and a realtor. I am a realtor, so give me a call or shoot me a text. You see the number at the bottom of the screen, 269-998-2384. Let me see if I can use over 30 years of experience in the industry to help you make the process a whole lot easier. Make sure you don't step on any landmines and save you some money. So give me a call. Let's see what you have to say. If you're outside of the state of, go ahead and contact me as well. You can call me or text me, and I'll try to help you out as best I can. There's a couple things we have to do differently, but definitely get you taken care of and handled. All right, welcome to Lions Talk Live. The Detroit Lions are expected to have a pretty good year this year, and a lot of that's going to be because of the offense. We all watched what they've done the last few seasons and been marveled by it. But now, it's a great debate to begin. Who is going to be a top 10 player for this team? Let's get into it. Let's not waste any time because I'm sure we're going to spend some time getting your thoughts after we go through the top 10 list. All right, so we're going to start off with quarterbacks, and that is correct. We are going to go out there and see what's out there. Let's start at the number one quarterback I had on my rankings this year. Probably not a whole lot of surprises here. Patrick Mahomes for the Kansas City Chiefs. I had him as the best quarterback in the league. I'm not going to go into depth with each guy if they're not a Detroit Lion, but let's just be able to say Patrick Mahomes is number one. Lamar Jackson, for all that he can do, is number two. With the Baltimore Ravens, hey, young guy, he's been an MVP already in this league. And you know what? He does seem like he's getting better and better, more rounded as the years go on. Joe Burrow came in at number three for me. A lot of different reasons. I did factor in their age, their salary cap, a lot of just different things when coming up with these evaluations. But I had Joe Burrow at number three. And I do want to say, especially with the quarterback position, like all positions, there's going to be room for debate. Could this guy be number 8 versus number 9, 7 versus 10 or whatever? Yes. Jalen Hurts came in at number 4 on my list from the Eagles. Josh Allen from the Buffalo Bills at number 5. Aaron Rodgers. Now, a whole lot riding on this one because obviously Aaron Rodgers has returned from a pretty significant injury at his age to reclaim some of his former glory and status. But I am at number 6. Justin Herbert. I debated on this one. This is where I really started having debates where to go with things. But Herbert from the Chargers came in at number 7. Dak Prescott, man, I really wanted to move him down the list, but just going on stuff for now when I really evaluated different aspects of the game. So play action pass, this, that, the other thing. I had him at number 8. Tua Tagovailoa. Oh boy, I always kill that last name. So I'll just go with Tua at number 9. And then, yes, from the Miami Dolphins. And yes, Jared Goff at number 10. In some metrics, I did have him top 5. In other metrics, I had him at number 13. So from the accumulation score that I came up with for him, I had him as the 10th best quarterback in the NFL. Now, there were some areas that he was actually number 1. And there weren't a ton of them, but there were some he was number 1, in my opinion, on being a quarterback in the NFL. Definitely play action pass. I thought his deep in routes were I'd say top 3 in the league. And there were some other metrics where I think he fell down to like 10, 11, 12, etc. But when it all is said and done, I had him, Jared Goff, is the number 10 best quarterback in the league. So Goff comes in at number 10, and we're going to take Goff and the quarterbacks off the board here and now move over to the running back position, because I do believe the Detroit Lions have a very gifted running back. All right, let's do the same thing. We'll start at number 1, work our way down. And give me just a moment to bring this up. So Christian McCaffrey came in at number 1 from the San Francisco 49ers on my list. He was the best running back in the league, and for a multitude of different reasons, but it is what it is. He can catch the pass. He can run. He can do a lot of things. His pass blocking probably doesn't get talked about enough, but I do think he does a real good job in the pass blocking assignments. That means number 2 is Derrick Henry. Yes, old man Henry. It might not be a spring chicken by any means. He might not be as young as he once was, but he's still a load to bring down. And when he's got it, and it's hard to account for him for any team. I think with the Baltimore Ravens this year, he could have a real revitalizing season and help take some pressure off Lamar Jackson. All right, number 3, Jonathan Taylor from the Indianapolis Colts. Not going to go on too much with the non-Lions guys, but I will say I think he's going to have another strong year. Nick Chubb's, assuming he is going to be all healed up and ready to go, I had him as number 4 this year for the Cleveland Browns. Bijan Robinson from the Atlanta Falcons, a rookie last year, one that the Lions I know talked about potentially taking. But, hey, this guy can play. He is out there. He's a monster, and he is my 5th best running back in the NFL. Saquon Barkley, now with the Philadelphia Eagles, came in at number 6. Number 7, Hall from the New York Jets, Breece Hall. Again, he's got to come back from injury in order to really have that ranking, but he is where he is as far as what I had. And Aaron Jones from Minnesota for the Minnesota Vikings, another guy that you could really debate. Could he be further down on the list? Could be up higher on the list? That's what we're here to do. We're here to talk about it. But then, Jahmyr Gibbs, Detroit Lions, I think when 2024 is over, he's probably going to be a top 4 running back in the NFL. Well, at least right now, based on just last year, what he's done in the league, not basing on potential, but you just think about the nearly 1,000 yards rushing, the 10 touchdowns, a 5.2 yards per carry average, all the things he's can do. And I think all the more he's going to be able to do this upcoming season, I think he's going to potentially be a top 5 running back when 2024 is over. So Gibbs comes in at number 9 in all the NFL in my rankings for running backs. So see what you guys have to say on that in a moment here when we get through all the rankings. But, hey, Gibbs, I think we all agree. This kid's pretty special. And when he was drafted, there was a whole lot of debate. Should the Lions have traded down? Should they have taken Carter? This, that, and the other thing. But I think at this point, most Lions fans are going to say, yeah, getting Gibbs was a home run move, and kudos to Brad Holmes and the scouting department and the coaching staff for having the cojones to go for it. So, all right, moving on now down the list, we're going to wide receivers here. So we got Gibbs at 9, we got Goff at 10 at their respective. Now we're going to go to wide receiver, and let me scroll down the list. Probably not a big surprise here. Justin Jefferson is going to be the number 1 wide receiver in all the NFL, and yes, the dude just got paid and paid quite a bit. Jefferson, special, rare, get it. Tyreek Hill from the Miami Dolphins, next guy on the list, he's number 2. And I think everybody who's watched him play during his career gets it. This kid's got wheels that, man, nobody else on planet Earth has who wears pads at an NFL level. CeeDee Lamb came in at number 3 from the Dallas Cowboys. Devontae Davis from the Raiders came in at number 4. Probably a lot of debate with having him here, but I think his numbers and his career in LA would be much better if they had a legitimate quarterback. Didn't have that last year. Numbers are down, and I don't think if they don't get the quarterback position right, his numbers are going to continue to stay down. And he is starting to get a little older. He is 31, so hey, got to pay attention to him. All right, Jamar Chase, Cincinnati Bengals, came in at number 5 on my list of top 10 at the wide receiver position. A.J. Brown and his band of renown came in at number 6 with the Philadelphia Eagles. And then, yes, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I know I had it up on the screen when I started the show, but hey, tried to get it down as quick as I could. I had him as the 7th best wide receiver in the whole NFL. So let that sink in. Yes, we all know the story. Late round pick, had a little bit of a a chip on his shoulder when he came on in because he was less than happy being drafted later than, or where he was, I should say. But you know what? Give Brown a lot of credit because you know what? He can play. And I think when this season's over, especially with the offensive weapons Detroit has, there's some real debate whether or not he could end up being a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. He gets in and out of routes perhaps as good, if not better, than any other receiver in the NFL. He may not have some of the elite speed, so some of the other guys on this list has, or some of the size. But what he does is he gets open. At the end of the day, that's what a receiver needs to do. They need to get open. So I'm Amon-Ra St. Brown on the Lions Talk Live top 10 lists that we're going through. He is number 7 in the whole NFL. So let that all sink in. Yeah, and I won't go through the rest of it. I'm only focused on until we get to the Detroit Lions players. Maybe some of the other positions we'll mention other guys beneath them, but trying to conserve time a little bit here today. All right, moving on down now. We're going to go to the tight end position. So tight end positions, hey, who's the best in the NFL? Probably a lot of debate. And it really, at the tight end position, I thought it was tougher to grade just because there's so many guys that are so similar to each other that I didn't think there was a massive jump from 1 to 2 to 3, etc. But, you're looking for a game of inches, right? So at number 1, Travis Kelce, he is getting up there long in the tooth. He is 30. He's getting up there. He's had some injuries. I think he's still the best overall tight end in the NFL. Excuse me, not Travis Kelce. George Kittle is replaced Travis Kelce is the number 1 tight end in all the NFL. So Kittle came in number 1, and again, a game of inches. I had, if you guys remember last year's show, I had Travis Kelce as number 1. I'm going to have him at number 2 this year. So Kittle, 49ers, number 1. Travis Kelce, number 2 with the Chiefs. TJ Hockenson, former Lion. Hey, we all know him. I won't go deep dive into him, but TJ Hockenson, did come up with an ACL injury. Yes, I get it was against the Detroit Lions. Is what it is. When he's healthy and fully recovered, I have him as the number 3 tight end in the NFL. Mark Andrews, I will say this for Andrews. I think he's the best blocking tight end on this list, and that's no disrespect to some of the other guys. I think they're all pretty good. Hockenson, I had as far as the top 5, top 10, I had him as one of the worst run blocking tight ends out there. But pass catching and everything, the whole shebang, he was number 3. Mark Andrews, easily, in my opinion, the best run blocking tight end, but he's number 4 overall on the list. And let this sink in what I'm about to hit you with. I have Sam Laporta is the 5th best tight end in the NFL. That's right. Sam Laporta, as a rookie, was the 5th best tight end in the whole NFL. And there's probably a real argument to put him at number 3. He was that good. Catching, route running, run blocking, everything you could ask for a tight end to do, he does it in droves. So when we traded TJ Hockenson, here's what I would say. You got Sam Laporta. You didn't have to pay TJ Hockenson the 2nd-year contract. So it does seem like it was a huge home run win for the Detroit Lions. You were able to get younger and cheaper and debatably just as good, if not better, in some metrics. So it will be real interesting when we go through it all to see what you guys have to say about it. But I have Sam Laporta as the NFL's 5th best tight end. All right, now moving on down the line. And, hey, I'm just going to start with this one at the top because you know what? I don't think there's a whole lot you can say, but I had a real deep dive debate on who's the best offensive tackle in the NFL. And we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. I had, as crazy as it was to me, Trent Williams, I graded him as the best offensive tackle in, right side, left side, whatever you want to say, in the NFL. And then, ding, 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 Penei Sewell. Overall, I had him as the 2nd best tackle in the whole NFL, especially when it comes to run blocking. He was number 1. Trent Williams, no disrespect to him, he's dang good. I mean, the difference between 1 and 2 wasn't a whole lot. Penei Sewell, though, young, very young, and he's going to be a cornerstone for this offensive line for a long time to come. So Penei Sewell, and again, I'm not going to worry about everybody else on the list. I'm just going to worry about the Detroit Lions players, but I had him as the number 2 top offensive lineman in the whole league. So let's see what you guys have to say about that. I did not have Taylor Decker in the top 10. And again, no disrespect for him. I don't think he's worthy of that. All right, and then the last one we're going to go into is going to be the rankings for the offensive linemen. And this was another one. Big debates here. We're trying to grade them, going through everybody. I'm just going to say this right now. I won't go through everybody. Just try to speed this up here. But, hey, Frank Ragnow, I had him as the third best offensive lineman in the whole league. And that's even with his injuries and everything. I did factor in Jason Kelce into this list, even though I get he's retired now. I had him as number one. Humphreys, Creed Humphreys is number two, and then Frank Ragnow as number three. That's on my list. When I looked at the run blocking technique, the pass blocking technique, durability, lots of different things to factor in here. But take a moment now and look at this. You had Goff at number 10, Gibbs number 9, Amon-Ra number 7, Sam Laporta 5, Penei Sewell 2, and then, yes, Frank the Tank Ragnow came in at number 3. So it's quite clear the Lions have an offense. The Lions have a lot of good guys on offense and a lot of guys that potentially could crack into that list. You know, if Jameson Williams has the year I think we're all expecting out of him, could he be top 10? I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see how close he can get to that. Offensive line, I don't think there's anybody who's going to, all of a sudden rise to the ranks because you think of the guards and then Taylor Decker. I think at this point in their career, they kind of are who they are. I don't see them pushing in the top 10, although I guess anything could happen. David Montgomery, I had as a very good running back, but I had him at number 15 on my list. So not top 10, but not far off it either. So let's go ahead and see what the Duke crew has to say about all this. Let me get to the top here. All right, there we go. Michael D, what do you got? Green Sanitation's coach and the Duke crew, exclamation points. Super Bowl or bust, one pride. Woo, woo! Good morning to you too, Michael. And let me know what your thoughts on the top 10 list. All right, JDC, good morning all. Good morning to you too. Hopefully having a good one. Moonscar, a fine Tuesday morning, Duke crew, exclamation point. Let's talk Lions football once again. Yes, we will. Well played there. All right, Bo, good morning, Duke crew. Wouldn't you like to ride in my beautiful balloon? All right. I see Super Bowl. All right. Woo! We'll go with all that. And yes, go ahead and ride the balloon. All right, Brent, good morning, everyone. Lombardi and no bust. There you go. Oh, yeah, a little macho man for you. Michael D. Gibbs, in your opinion, is a top 10 in his position, and we seem to think alike there. Yes, he is top 10. All right, see, Bo, Gibbs, and J-Mo, the dirty dozen. All right, I'll go with that. J-Mo, I think, yeah, we all get it, man. He's set up to have a real good year. He can have a breakout season. Let's see what he does, but he's got to earn the right to be on the top 10 list next year. All right, Mike the Marine, howdy, Dan in Lionsfield. Dan Thornton, here's a woo! Welcome all to Wooville. There you go, Mike and Gunny. Have a great morning, my friend. Moonscar, Bo, do you have 99 Loof balloons? Question mark. You can take the whole Duke crew to the Superdome as long as they don't bust. Yes, as long as those balloons don't bust, there we go. All right, Bo, we need to contact Captain Kirk. We'll make that happen. All right, Michael D, haha, good one, Moonscar there, all right? Brent, Pro Football Focus's linebacker rankings are ridiculous. Even Alex A was perturbed. Yeah, it is what it is, man. I don't know what they look at. I don't know what everybody rates and makes their ratings on. I can only speak for myself. Tomorrow we'll have the defense, and probably not a big surprise here. There won't be as many Detroit Lions on the defensive side with things. So we'll have to mess with that a little bit, try to make it entertaining for all. Surfer, good morning, coach and everyone. Back at you, Surfer. Bo, it's the dawning of the age of Terrion. Terrion, all right? Terrion it is. All right, let's see. Clark, greetings and salutations, Duke crew. I like it, exclamation point. We have a good debatable topic today, coach. Well played. Hey, thanks, man. Every once in a while, I have a little luck and get a good idea. So let's see what everybody thinks of it. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Trumps, I'm back. Woo! Well, welcome back, and glad to have you back with the crew. All right, Mike the Marine, Brad Holmes is putting the D in Detroit. Woo! Woo! And I think you're spot on that with it, Gunny. I think this year's D is going to be lights out. So because we won't have so many guys in the top 10 for tomorrow's show, probably going to have to change some of the topics or whatever, maybe estimate where they're going to be by the end of the season. And I do think by the end of the year, there's going to be a few guys, not just Aiden Hutchinson, in the top 10 list of their respective positions. But we'll address that tomorrow. Eddie, woo! Welcome back, Trump's Genius. There you go. Bo, how much disrespect can we expect Goff to get this year? Probably a ton. I mean, like I was saying when it came to the rankings, I had him at 10, but there's easily a debate to have him somewhere, I would say, up around 7, maybe 6. Maybe you could go to 6. When you get in the top 5, I mean, those guys do have a few things that push them into that list. Now, there's also the opposite. I end up number 10. Could you have him at number 15, 10, 12, 14, or whatever? Yeah, you could. I think below 15, that's showing just a real big slap to his face because what he has done in both Los Angeles and Detroit is noteworthy. Plus, when you look at his stats last year alone, I mean, the kid can play, and there's no debate about that at this point. When you've done that, that's consistently, what he's done so consistently, the numbers, the success, the playoff wins, etc. Hey, I know a lot of the people, throw stones at him. Well, he lost the Super Bowl. You know what? He also made the Super Bowl. What percentage of NFL quarterbacks make the Super Bowl throughout the history of the NFL? Not a whole lot. And the fact that he actually threw 2 touchdown passes that were dropped needs to be factored in. Yes, he did also miss one guy who was wide open for a touchdown, is what it is. He got the team there. They were in position to win. They did not win. Last season with the Lions, hey, Goff got us to the NFC title game, did everything I think you could ask him to do to win. It's just a couple drop passes here and there. Gibbs, right before halftime, kind of loses his footing, making a post cut in the end zone. If he doesn't lose his footing, that's another touchdown right before half. Might have sealed the game. Josh Reynolds, I get the first drop. Could you throw some blame on Jared Goff for that pass? Yes. Could you also throw it at Reynolds? 100%. And I know that's part of the reason why he left town. Could you blame this thing, that thing, everything? Yeah, you can. At the end of the day, they didn't get it done. But I think Jared Goff, he's going to have another strong year and continue to push up the ranks and get some more respect this year. All right, Trumps, thank you, 100%. Moonscar, any Duke crew away Duke crew to Captain Kirk! Exclamation point. Beam us out of the 5th dimension. All right, fair enough. Trumps, any word on how defensive end Betts is doing? He apparently he's doing well. So my brother Tim actually sent me a clip. I don't know, whatever it was, someday last week when we were talking about how the defense was playing, etc. And it sounds like he was tearing up, at least the day that report came out, he was tearing up some of the offensive line, getting at the quarterback for what would have been sacks, because they're not going to let anybody hit the quarterbacks this time of year. So, yeah, it sounds like he's doing well, but we'll have to wait and see once the preseason games get here. All right, Surfer, what do you got? Was so upset when the Lions passed on Kancey last year, but I feel a little better with a Wingo now. I think he got plenty of numbers. Yeah, and I think Wingo's going to do well. I get there was a big debate who to take there. And I also get from getting the War Room video from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that they were ready to take Campbell if Detroit passed. They knew they had him or Kancey. I think from what you could gain or draw out of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers War Room video, they were okay with either guy. So is what it is. But hey, I think at this point with DJ Reader, with Broderick Martin, with Wingo, and Ali McNeil, I mean, that defensive tackle position is looking pretty decent. All right, 70. Good morning, boys! Exclamation point. How many guys on offense do we have in the NFL's top 10? I am thinking a lot. Well, I'll answer that for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 guys that were top 10 for you. So hopefully that helps there. And yeah, there's your answer. Good morning, Steph. All right, Trump's. Hey, Trump's. What's happening? All right. Let's see. Detroit D. We will have a top 7 defense this year, and we will then win the Super Bowl. I think that is the plan. I think it's a good plan. And D, I think you're spot on. I think the defense is going to vastly supersede most people's expectations. I know I've said I think we're going to be somewhere around 10, but that doesn't mean we couldn't crack the top 10. I think as aggressive as we're going to be and as young as we're going to be with some of those younger talented players now evolving and developing, yeah, it's set up to be a pretty decent year in Motown. All right, green sanitation, everyone. Back at UD. Jess, green sanitation's all. The offense will be top 5, while our defense could be around 10 or so. It's going to be a great year in the D. I think so. Yeah, I think both both sides of the ball should be pretty dang good. And that's why I know I've mentioned often, go ahead and record those games, whatever, because you're going to want to go back and replay them. All right, Jerome, let's see. Good morning, Coach, Duke Crew. Aiden Hutchinson reminds me a lot, reminds me of Lion-O from the Thundercats. Will our defense be in top 5? Well, if you ask Detroit D, he says yes. I think it's going to be top 10, maybe crack the top 10 or so. But either way, I think it's going to be lights out, much improved over the past few years. So I would say, hey, keep an eye on it. But I think it's going to be a fun defense to watch. Again, good morning to you too, Jerome. Moonscar, defense equals DE thing that keeps DE dog in DE yard. All right. Reader, Hutch, McNeil, Houston, Betts, Davenport. Yeah, that front line should be, I'm anticipating, sounds like everybody else, it's going to be much improved over the past few years. Surfer, Terry and Arnold, and the Lions go on trying to put some rhymes down. All right, fair enough. We'll see if we can come up with a little lyrical lines and rhymes that come straight to my mind all the time. Sparkle like a gem because I got a heck of a voice. Why do the people love me, man? Because I was your number 1 draft choice. How's that? All right, France, good evening, Duke Crew gang. 100% going back to you. And hey, thanks for always being part of the show. Moonscar. And today, DE coffee is delicious. There you go. All right. The coffee is delicious. Just say Kate Green, Sanitation Zone. Here's my question. Who is our best offensive player? Ooh, that's a good one. Best overall offensive player. To me, and hey, it might be one of 3 people. Best overall offensive player. I'll go with Gibbs, Laporta, Penei Sewell. Yeah, and I get Penei is not a skill position, so it's probably not going to, get a lot of people voting for him, but he's pretty dang good. Excuse me. All right, Bo, let's see. Brad Holmes, with his 6th-round sense, leads us out of the dark, hearing the Lombardi Trophy, singing Ever Dream of Me all the way. All right, I will go with that. Detroit D, win, just win, baby. I like the way you're thinking. Bo, besides Jared Goff, JSK. I guess I'm not thinking what JSK is. All right, let me know because I'm drawing a blank right now. Sorry, man. Jerome, hey, Coach, in full pads, how much weight does that add for an NFL player? It really kind of depends on your position, the pads you use. I would say somewhere between 8 and 10 pounds on average. I mean, it doesn't mean you can't have some that are a little bit more. Like a punter's pads are different than an offensive lineman's pads, and there's a lot of weight difference. A wide receiver or cornerback's pads are different than the linebackers or down lineman or offensive lineman's pads. So a lot of that, it just really does depend on the position. All right, Rocky, good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. The whole offensive line and tight end, a couple of running backs, and going with 2 receivers, ranking top 10. It could be. Yeah, it could be. And good morning, Rock. And good morning, Duke Crew. Thank you, Anthony, for always being a part of the show. And thanks for all the help you always give to the channel. Good morning. Gary, good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you. Brent, Pro Football Focus is a joke. Not one Lions linebacker in the top 32. Ridiculous. Yeah, I would say, yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. Everybody has their own metrics, and I'm not going to say somebody else is wrong, and, mine is the only one right, or somebody else's is the only one right. But to not say that the Lions didn't have a single linebacker in the top 32, I mean, hey, to each their own, man. All right, Rocky M, and also a no-brainer that quarterback also ranks in the top 10. Yeah. And again, I think you could have really debated Jared Goff, pushed him up maybe to number 6. But either way, you get it. The guy's a top 10 quarterback. All right, Surfer, Stephanie, top 10 ranked. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Penei Sewell, Gibbs, Laporta, Goff, and perhaps Zettler. Ooh, you know what? I don't hold me to this. I don't have him in front of me. I think I had Zettler as like number 13. Pass blocking, he was top 10. Run blocking, I also want to say he was like number 18 on my list, but don't hold me to that. I'm going off memory. Jack, what do you got? Instead of banning the woo, how about a compromise? 3 woos per show. As a stock market guy, you should understand FIFO. Yes. As far as finding a compromise, today it hasn't been too bad. I mean, nobody's been overly wooing, so there are some days where you can tell everybody gets into it a little bit more than others. All right, Moonscar, speaking of pad weights, if Barry and all of those opposing defenders played in today's pads, would he have run for even more yards? Question mark. Or would that make it easier for defenders to tackle him? I think the question or the great debate you have there, Moonscar, is just today's NFL. It's a different league, different world. They don't run the ball nearly as much as they used to. The one thing I would say that would make Barry more applicable to this year's, or excuse me, the current NFL, is the fact that he mostly played in an offense that is similar to current NFL standards, the run and shoot. While it's not quite the run and shoot in today's NFL, it is pretty dang similar. The route patterns, the tree negotiations, the amount of receivers on the field, at the same time, the amount of defensive backs too. Would he ran for more? Man, I'm going to go with yes, just because the tackling rules and how you can tackle somebody is different than it was back then, plus the amount of hitting. So it's possible you might have had Barry go for more yards, plus the fact that they're winning nowadays. Yeah, he might have played another season or two. Who knows, man? Bo, last in, last out. All right, fair enough. All right, Moonscar, all in. Anthony, ball sack deep. Oh, boy, here we go. Brent, laughing. Moonscar, N. All right. Moonscar, no. Woo! Wednesdays. Yes, there we go. Wait a minute. Isn't today Tuesday? Man, it is early in the morning. All right, Bo, we're too busy singing to put anybody down. Yes, the Monkeys. All right. Well, it's Tuesday. Yes, it is Tuesday. Hey, thanks for correcting me on that. I wasn't sure. Silver Surfer. Support for the Ric Flair. Woo! The Cowboys. Woo! Is like being hit with a stick. But I have often been told I am strange. All right. Well, hey, be you, man. Be you. All right. See, Robert, greetings and salutations. Back at you. Michael D. Yeah, we are the Monkeys. Yes. Jedi Sith. Good morning, Dew Crew. Woo! There you go. Moonscar, Bo, Brent, just trying to be friendly. There you go. Yes, there you go. Lions fan, what do you got? Green salutations. How many guys we have in the top 10? We had 7 guys crack the top 10 according to my metrics or standings or however you want to term it, but that's what I came up with. All right, Trump's not much, Moonscar, pouring concrete, been busy. Hey, it's good to be busy, my friend. Bo, cement your place, Trump. Oh, boy. Well played, though. Well played. All right, Jerome. Hey, Coach, can you briefly explain what's the slot receiver as opposed to any receiver? So I would say back in like the last 10 years or 90s or whatever, there was a difference between an X receiver and a slot receiver. I just think it's becoming less and less noticeable because so many of the prominent receivers nowadays, Jerome, really are shorter, faster, quicker receivers, quote unquote 90s, 2000s, 2010s, maybe slot receivers. So usually your slot guy is a more compact receiver who relies on quickness and agility to get open on routes. Someone like a Golden Tate or Amon-Ra St. Brown. Your X or outside receivers were usually bigger, stronger guys that had more burner speed and vertical jump. So you could think, I don't want to say Kelvin Johnson because Kelvin Johnson can play anywhere. He was just a problem. But like Des Bryant, Herman Moore, if you want to go back in the Lions time, those were outside receivers. They were going to rely on those skill sets. But again, today's NFL, there really isn't a difference. It's just your receiver that can get open. And I think they've changed the game a little bit. That's why, Justin Jefferson is getting paid what he is. They're going to line him up wherever and cause problems for you wherever. Jameson Williams, if he keeps developing, I'm not going to say he's going to be, Jefferson or anything like that, but he could really be a problem because of his speed and his quickness. It was his route running or his technique, in my opinion, that slowed him down coming out of college. And I've said it before on the show, I think a lot of that blame for his lack of development in those regards go back to his individual college coaches because they just allowed him to be an athlete. They didn't ever really teach him technique, in my opinion. But the Lions have. And you were seeing he's becoming a route runner, not just a burner. So hopefully that's a real quick explanation for you, Drum. Phil, good morning. Good morning, dude. Phil. Let's see. Moonscar. Tis high mud slinging season, Trump. There you go. No politics. Agreed. Surfer, Barry's type of athletes are so superior to the rest. The modern uniforms wouldn't have made a difference in any way or another, I believe. Yeah, I think Barry, he's just rare, just like Bo Jackson. You know, you can go through the list of great Hall of Fame running backs. They'd find a way to be successful in any time frame. Barry is just going to be a problem because he is so agile and he can, you know, whatever you want to say, shake and bake or whatever. He's just hard to tackle. And I think that would be somewhat exacerbated by today's era where the tackling is less strong than it has been in other decades. The hitting is lessened. The rules favor the offense more. Yeah, I think someone like Jared Goff would have been a perfect quarterback, in my opinion, for Barry Sanders because of the play action pass. What is clearly Goff is one of the best NFL quarterbacks when it comes to play action pass. And if you got somebody that's scary in the backfield, like a Gibbs, I think one helps the other. Goff is going to be able to throw easier because you're going to force that half second, maybe a second half of delay from the second level of the defense because they just have to really make sure, does the running back have the ball or does Goff have the ball? And if you get that hesitation, man, you can hit a lot of shots. All right, Trumps, woo! And good morning. Anthony, we need a convicted felon as our, okay, yeah, no politics. Moonscar, okay, yep. Bo, I hope tis not, okay, yep. All right, Dave, rookies that could have a breakout year. Arnold, Rakestraw, Vaki, Wingo, Betts, what a class. Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, though, Dave, Betts is not a rookie. He's what is he, 29. He's been in the NFL before, admittedly never made the active 53-man roster, but he is a rookie to the Lions, so I get you there. Wingo and Vaki, I think, are starting to get more and more notice from fans. I think more and more people by the end of the season, by the middle of the season, are probably going to be pretty impressed with them. Rakestraw, Arnold, I think they're perfect fits for what the Lions like to do. And keep in mind with both of them, remember when Arnold came into college football, he was a safety. He was not a corner. And we've talked about both of them have played safety and corner throughout their collegiate careers. I think you're going to see more and more of that. Arnold, to me, and I forget who it was in the comment section yesterday, but somebody after we did the live had some comments. We had a little bit of chatter about Arnold. We talked about 40 times. We talked also about in-game times. You watch Arnold, and I know we talked about it yesterday when we did the video, but he covers guys so fluidly. When they make a cut, he is on them. He can anticipate, has instinct for it, and watch his hips, watch his knee, watch his lead foots. When he plants, sort of like I gave TJ Hockenson when he was in Detroit and still in Minnesota a lot of grief because I felt he led to a lot of interceptions with quarterbacks because when he would break to go out here, he would break and go up and then round out. Cornerbacks would eat those routes up from time to time because he wouldn't just break hard. Conversely, Arnold, when somebody plants and cuts out sharply, he cuts and plants out sharply, and he maintains his speed and balance. I think he's pretty rare in those regards. And I'm not saying he's going to be a Hall of Famer. I'm not going to say he's going to be the greatest cornerback of all time. I'm just saying what you can see on film with him right now, and Rakestraw mirrors that a lot, is that both guys can cover and eat up space. Then they can make breaks or breakups on passes. All right, Patrick, good morning, Duke Crew. For me, Goff should be a top 5 at least. Montgomery should be in the top 5. Gibbs will have to wait one more year. In your opinion, yeah, St. Brown should be at least number 3 or higher, and the whole offensive line. Okay, fair enough. Excuse me. Anthony, damn, forgot about, no politic talking here. Just I guess NFL talking, but that's about it. Trump's, it would be over. Yep. All right. Anthony, I'll retract that statement. Nobody wants, no politics here. Keep your eyes on the prize, boys. Yes, 100%. Let's see, Barry Surfer. Barry would have run for 2,500 yards behind this line. A great offensive slash teammates and against today's linebackers. Can't tackle them from behind, ? Barry would average 6.5 yards per carry. One of the things that hurt Barry, if you guys remember, I think most people remember Mike Utley, at least if you're old enough to remember those lines, but then also Andlesek, who unfortunately, you can't make this stuff up, man. He was trimming his bushes in his front yard, had a noise reduction earphones on while he was trimming the bushes, and a semi-driver fell asleep at the wheel, went off the road, and ran right into him, unfortunately ending his life. If the Lions would have kept both guys, think about how much better those 90s Lions lines would have been. unfortunately, yeah, it didn't happen. All right, Michael, Superdome or bust, 100%. Super Bowl or bust, all the above or bust. Will be stronger than you, and they can't. Okay, yep, yep. Anthony, except broskies. All right, Bo, I broke my last skis. All right, well, time to go buy some new skis. Motown Green, salutations, coach and the Duke crew. Lions rule, Bears drool. All the above. All right, rocks. All right. Anthony, I was just wondering where you've been. There, you all right? Yep. Okay. Yeah, all right. And then moving right along. Patrick, Rodgers should not be where he's at. Rodgers is on the way down. I agree. He's really got to do a lot this year to try to maintain. If you watch his last 2 games against Lions, he just fell apart, lost some zip on the ball. Goff should have been rated over Rodgers. Fair enough. Like I said, that's the good part about it. Have some debates. All right, Surfer, Goff as a quarterback. Forget stats, characteristics, mobility. It's just a quarterback that can lead a team to win. I agree with that. It is right up there with Mahomes. We do not match well against Ravens and Lamar. No, I mean, they'll give a lot of people problems, but I will say this. We're a lot more athletic on the defensive side of the ball to create some matchup issues for the Ravens, unlike last year. Jax, I want to put Dak so high. Yeah, I thought about moving him down. I did. I thought about switching him and Goff, actually. Like I said, I thought about pushing Goff up to maybe number 6. Server, Brees Hall, best running back in the NFL right now. I want the Lions to give him best runner. Fair enough. Server, curious to see Keaton Mitchell, Ravens fans from the beginning of the season. Yeah, he'll be someone to watch. Phil working on a guitar. Do Crew guitar has begun to be built, and this is it. All right, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Thanks for that, Phil. Sorry, I had to zoom in, try to see the screen a little bit better. Moonscar Hill is now crying for a new contract 2 years in. Hey, it's probably why he's not a Lion, right? That's one good thing we can say about our players is we take care of them, and they all seem to be driven in the same direction. There's nobody going off into distractions for the team. Brent, Dak, Lamar, Cousins, the bigger the game, the bigger they choke. Yes. There could be some truth at. Yeah, Lamar, man, I feel for the kid, man, because he's had some huge success, just not in the postseason. And that's ultimately, at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Amy, good morning. Dan, the Duke crew, exclamation points. Just do it, Lions. Woo! Good morning, Amy. Thanks for being here. Bus driver, good morning, Duke crew. I finally made a live since going to Iowa and dealing with their crazy weather. 7 tornadoes in 4 days. Wow. Yeah, well, you're giving me a real good thinking as to why I'm not moving to Iowa anytime soon. So thank you for that. Pat, woo! What's up, Coach? What's up, Pat? Hopefully having a good one. No, Tom, come on, Coach. You know he is better than Hawk. I'm trying not, with some of the rookies like Gibbs and Laporta, I was trying to just not overly gauge them. They've been around 1 year. They do it again this year. You're going to see both of them probably be top 3, maybe even higher than that. And there is strong possibilities both of them could do that. Goff has another strong year. I'm guessing he will slip up to about number 5, at least right around there, just because I do think Dak is in trouble. I think, Aaron Rodgers is in trouble, amongst other people for sure. So, they might slide on down. Pat, I'm going to be looking for a smaller house in Daytona Beach, Florida, or Panama City, Florida. Do you think you can help me find one in a little while? Yes. Just go ahead and text me or call me or whatever, man. We'll make it happen. Let's see. Patrick Laporta is far and away better than Hodgson in blocking and route running. I would agree. Again, I didn't want to overly rank the rookies just on 1 year. To be fair to some of the other guys, they've done it for multiple years. So I did factor that in a little bit. So food for thought. All right, say Motown, he'll be Air Laporta. All Laporta. There we go. All Laporta. Bo, Coach, you are being fair. Emotional reactions aside, this list makes sense. Yeah, and again, some of the guys that are younger could, have huge jumps up the list. Once they've established themselves for more than just one season. Penei Sewell, though, I thought there was a real strong argument to just say he's the best offensive tackle in the NFL. But again, it gave a little bit towards the veteran. All right, bus driver, TJ is lower on the list. One-way player and not elite at catching. Yeah, not elite at catching, not elite at run blocking. but he puts up numbers, and that's I guess the biggest thing that I pushed him up there because of it. Pat, when do you think you may put out your guests for the 53-man roster? Why not? We'll do it this week. And so tomorrow's show is going to be about top 10 defenders, and then we'll go ahead and try to put out the 53-man roster. All right, guys. It looks like Hutch is finally able to be here. Hutch Jr., how you doing this morning?
Good, man. Glad to be back in Michigan, that's for sure.
Well, welcome on back. Hope Florida didn't burn you out. Did you have an opportunity to see our top 10 list for the positions?
I did not, actually.
All right, let's real quick review here. Hold on. Just so I could do that. All right, Jared Goff came in on my top 10 list in the NFL as number 10. Gibbs, number 9, as far as the 9th best NFL runner. But I did say with him, Laporta, et cetera, they could move up just because I didn't want to overly rank them. They've only done it for one season. They do it for 2 seasons. Now you got a trend. Amon-Ra, number 7. Sam I Am Laporta, number 5. Penei Sewell, number 2, as far as offensive tackles in the league. And the Frank the Tank Ragnow coming in strong at number 3. So what say you about these rankings?
I mean, I would probably put Penei Sewell number 1. I mean, I don't think there's another tackle that's better than him. I mean, show me one, show me numbers, show me, I mean, I think he's the best tackle in the league, but that's just me. I mean, you can call it favoritism what you want. But, yeah, no, Jared Goff, 10. That's hard for me, right? Because I've been having this conversation for a while now, and it's all about the quarterbacks and the money. And there's some times where you would put Goff above certain quarterbacks, like Joe Burrow healthy is a great quarterback, but the problem is he can never stay healthy. So do you put Jared Goff above Joe Burrow because he's healthy? There's that conversation where, he's been there. So, yeah, Goff is at, but a lot of these times I've been seeing Dak above Jared Goff, and it's just blasphemy to me that even Dak is in a conversation of a top 10 quarterback, but that's just me. So
if you had to debate one topic really on here, and I know when it came to Goff, I think I was talking with the Duke crew about it. I had him in some areas as number 1 in the NFL. Like when it came to play action passes, some deep in routes and stuff, he does that stuff probably as good as, if not better than, the vast majority of quarterbacks in the NFL. There are a couple spots, mobility, some of his, he can throw the deep ball, but some of his timing, at least so far with J-Mo, has been off. So I did knock him down a little bit on some of that stuff. At the end of the day, I thought between number 10 and number 5, huge debate. You could swap those guys all around, and I don't think there'd be really a downside to it. But if you had one thought on St. Brown, Gibbs, or Laporta, what would you say impresses you the most and worries you the most about each of them?
I mean, my thing is I need year 2 of Gibbs. I want to see him kind of recreate what he recreated this year and maybe add a little more. I mean, I look at Austin Eckler. He's kind of that dynamic back when he was with the Chargers. So I'm kind of looking to see Gibbs come out of that backfield, catch the ball a little more, because I think he creates that much more of a threat for our offense. If he comes out and he can start catching the ball, screens, and those kind of the packages they were running with Montgomery and so, I mean, maybe even split him out wide and see what he can do. I mean, and then at that point, I would think Gibbs is just, right now he's looking better than Bijan Robinson, but everyone's still on that Bijan Robinson's better than Gibbs train. We'll find out, but I thought Gibbs was the better back in all of football last year.
Yeah, I think Robinson, just because the amount of carries he gets, where Gibbs, he started off his rookie year a little slow. Montgomery got more of the snaps, but then right around the first Tampa Bay game last year, that started to change. Gibbs, after that got some more, especially against Atlanta. He did well, and from there you could see his confidence grow. He understood the NFL blocking assignments a little bit better, how to hit those holes. Do you think I know Micro Mike did a bit on it. It's been reported on different stations or whatever and websites. Do you think the Lions do use Gibbs a little bit as like a out of the backfield receiver? Maybe even motion him out wide out of the backfield and create some matchup problems against safeties or linebackers this year?
I mean, I would love to see it, right? I mean, if you're going to use J-Mo as your blistering over the top guy, why not split Gibbs out and see what he can do? Because, I mean, right now, you got probably a linebacker, maybe a slot corner that's going to guard Amon-Ra. And that's just a mismatch coverage right there. And then, if you bring in J-Mo, he's going to take the top off of defense. So now the safety's got to play for that. And now that just leaves one-on-one with Gibbs. I mean, I don't think there's many linebackers, if any, that can guard Gibbs one-on-one. And he proved that a lot. I mean, we saw what he did in the Minnesota game to that linebacker. I mean, he absolutely put his ankles on the turf. And I mean, you put him one-on-one with a lot of these people. Maybe a corner can tackle him, but I mean, Gibbs one-on-one is scary business. I mean, his elusiveness, his vision, his ability to stop, cut, it's amazing. I was one of those guys when we picked him 12. I was like, we'll find out. And then I watched him last year, like you said, that Tampa Bay game, and then he had that game and that Monday night game against the Raiders. And it was just like, this guy can be special if he figures it out, and he's got the line. And I think that's what makes him so good is he's running behind Montgomery. So we'll see. Yeah, no, I would definitely do it just to get the mismatches,
If you had to say there's one or two players on both sides of the ball that nobody's talking about right now, or at least, how about this? Let me rephrase that weren't here last year that you think will really impact the team this upcoming season, who would you list as those players?
Actually, it's funny you say that. I think I just saw Jeff Brisson say about that Matthew Betts guy that we signed on the CFL. I think he said it along the words of, he looks like a car salesman, but he can get to the quarterback. I guess he's tearing it up in the training camp. Yeah. So I'm interested to see what he's going to do. And obviously the rookies, man, I can't stress it enough. I keep going back and forth with the secondary. And I'm like, man, it would be really nice to have Cam Sutton, because Carlton Davis, Cam Sutton, and the two rookies. But I always forget that we got Carlton Davis. Like, I sit there and I'm like, man, we got Ennis Rakestraw and Arnold. Who's our other corners? Then I'm like, oh, well, we got Carlton Davis, but a lot of people forgot that Aaron Glenn was Marshawn Lattimore's coach in the rookie year when he won the award. So, if he can come in and have Terrion even be a glimpse of what Marshawn Lattimore was his rookie year, I'd be happy. Him and Rakestraw, if they come in year one and they just do numbers, I'll feel so much better about our secondary.
Yeah, I think it was before you were on the show. I did the video yesterday on Arnold, and I think Arnold, when I watch him, and Rakestraw definitely follows this, you watch how quickly, I think there's a lot of cornerbacks out there with speed, agility, or whatever, but what they might struggle in is man-to-man coverage at the NFL level, because let's face it, the top wide receivers in this league are incredibly hard to guard. And whether it's, Jefferson or whoever you want to say, Chase, when they plant that first foot and then they break out wide, they create 2-3 yards of separation. It's just hard for the average NFL cornerback to keep up with them. Now, that being said, there's a big difference between college, even at the D1 level, the high D level, the Power 5 level, to NFL football. But at least what you're seeing out of OTAs, you're seeing Arnold already starting to get a little bit tighter with that coverage. And I do believe Arnold, Rakestraw, that when they get to about the middle of the year, towards the end of the year, you're going to see them smother a lot of, wide receiver number 3, number 4, number 2. I don't know if any of them are going to be ready for wide receiver number 1 or 2 primarily all the time, but I do think you're going to see at least those other guys get removed from the offensive equation. With that being said, who do you think on the defensive side, since we're talking all offense for the most part with these rankings today, who do you think is going to be the biggest standout player, not named Aiden Hutchinson or Brian Branch this year?
I feel like McNeil's gonna have a big year because of the DJ Reader edition. Something tells me DJ Reader brings a lot to this defense. So I'm gonna go with McNeil, man. I want to go with Campbell, but I don't know. Anzalone's always there, but no, I think McNeil's gonna have a big year. I think he's gonna feast off what DJ Reader brings to his defense. I want to say Houston, but I think I'm just gonna stick with my gut and go with McNeil.
Okay, I'll go with that. I'm gonna selfishly go with the James Houston, but hey, that's just me, man.
No, you know what? Hey, man, I hope Houston recreates what he did his rookie year. I was really hoping he'd make that big difference when he came back in the San Francisco game. You could just tell he was so, he was there, but he wasn't. He couldn't get there in it, and I think that's where DJ Reader's going to help this defense a lot. So,
Yeah, and I just joke with Houston because every time something comes up on the show, I throw him out there because he's my answer for everything to the D.
Yeah.
So I'm making jokes with that. All right, now offensively, or let's take a break from the offense or the defense. The Lions have over 40 million in cap. At least that's all the projections from Sporadic over the cap, etc. You do the math yourself. It looks like they've got around 40 million in cap space. I know you and I have talked about a little bit off camera. Where do you think and what do you think they should do with this cap space?
I mean, I would like to see him sign maybe a veteran safety just for insurance. Obviously, one safety is not going to cost you 40 million. There's some still big names out there. My biggest thing is I think Quandre Diggs should get a welcome back to Detroit. He was always one of my favorite Lions, but I think if you want to keep up with this division, man, I mean, you look at all the teams, you look at the Bears, you look now with Justin Jefferson getting his big deal. I wouldn't mind seeing us go get T. Higgins, man. I know there's been rumors floating around. I know we kind of talked about this the other day. I mean, you add T. Higgins to this offense, and God knows where this offense goes. I mean, that might be that extra step. I mean, who do you guard? I mean, you got Jamison Williams, T. Higgins, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Laporta. You got maybe Gibbs now coming out of the backfield. Good luck. I mean, put your defense out there and see what happens. But, yeah, no, I don't think T. Higgins, it might cost you a first and a third, but you got the cap space, and maybe you ink him to a – I don't know, 2 or 3 year deal. I don't know what he's looking for. Maybe you just want to make sure that it's not a 1 year. You get him for 1 year and you're losing him to free agents. He's already said he doesn't want to do it. So, but no, T. Higgins is my kind of lean right now, man. I'm scared that one injury on this offense can just derail the whole season. So that's where it's our greatest strength, but it's also our greatest weakness.
So much of today's NFL defenses are zone coverage responsibilities. Like the Lions really will be rare in the fact that I'm guessing 70% of the time we're going to be in man, maybe even higher than that. Where I would say the NFL average is probably the opposite of that. 70% are in zone coverage. To your point, you add another strong over the top wide receiver like Higgins to this. Unless you're just that blitz or whatever you're going to throw at the offensive line and Goff gets there incredibly fast, I just think in your scenario, there would be so many holes in that zone for Goff to pick apart. And he does that well. Let's be fair. He does that very well. I don't think there'd be many defenses that would give him problems. Now, if you can play zone coverage and get the blitz home in a couple seconds, then yeah, you can get to Goff and probably rattle him and break up the offense. But we'll see what shakes out. So, all right, I got a question for you with your rankings. If you had to make any adjustments to the ones I threw out there, who would you push up or down or take off the list? I guess that's an option too. Let's start with quarterback.
I think Jared Goff at 10 is good. I think I'll keep him there.
Okay, fair enough. Moving on from Goff, now we're going to move to running back. Gibbs, I had at number 9. Would you put Montgomery in the top 10? Would you move Gibbs up, down, or what?
I mean, maybe go Montgomery 9, Gibbs 10. I don't know. It's hard for me because it's like what I mean, Montgomery was good even with the Bears O-line, which wasn't great. So, they mysteriously think that DeAndre Swift is this god tier guy. So yeah, no, I would keep Gibbs at 9 for now because I just don't know where Montgomery would fit in. But yeah, I'll keep Gibbs at 9.
Swift is like stealing money, man. You get paid a good contract, you can probably spend half the time on the sideline. So hey,
that's right.
Take that job with the offer, my friend. All right, St. Brown. Do you push him up, down? What do you do with St. Brown? Do you add anybody else from Detroit to the list?
I would probably push St. Brown up here. I just don't know if there's 7 wide receivers in the NFL that might be better than him. I mean, people can argue. I mean, we're going to always have this DJ Moore, Amon-Ra St. Brown argument, whatever. But no, I think St. Brown's going to go up. Just for me, there's not anyone in the league that can guard him. I mean, we can argue this. You put a linebacker on him, he's torching. Right. He can beat you over the top. He's not the fastest guy. What do you run, like a 4.5, 4.6? But he's unguardable. So yeah, I'd put him up there maybe 5 or 6. I'd move him up 1 or 2 spots, but I wouldn't go higher than that. I mean, there's still some great wide receivers out there. So
fair enough. All right, Sam, I am Laporta.
Based off his rookie year, maybe he could be higher, but I want to see year 2. So I would probably move him up one spot. I mean, there's a couple tight ends in the league that are better. Kelsey. But I mean, outside of that, production-wise, what he had last year, people were talking that he had a better year than most of these veteran tight ends. So, we'll see what he does this year. If he comes out and does it again, we're talking about, when Kelsey retires. I mean, if Mark Andrews stays the way he does, Laporta could be like right behind him, So there's a couple good tight ends in the league, but Laporta's definitely up there. I mean, he's definitely top 5. That's where I'm at with him.
All right. Moving on to the offensive tackle, Penei Sewell, the man, the myth, the legend.
Number 1.
Number 1 it is, yeah.
That guy is just, I mean, to have him pulling in a situation where he's running full speed and blocking a defender is just, it shouldn't be, it's not fair. I mean, and then him catching the ball. He can do everything. He's just number 1 offensive tackle, in my opinion.
I think if you shaved about 30 pounds off Penei and you want to move him to basically an H-back or a tight end or whatever, he could, and he'd be wearing a gold jersey within about 2 seasons.
Yeah, I think make him like a fridge, give him maybe this year. Maybe we need to get a hold of Ben Johnson and tell him to line up Penei Sewell at fullback this year.
Imagine having to tackle that dude in the gold line. All right, then Frank to the tank for Ragnow.
Yeah, Frank. He's kind of plays all positions, and he's Mr. Reliable. Man, that guy, no matter what injury he has, he's still playing. So, no, I leave him at 3. I mean, I like the list. Like I said, Goff can go between 5 and 10, but no, Ragnow will leave here.
All right. Well, we've gone over an hour here. Hutch Jr., why don't you go ahead and give yourself a shout out before we wrap up the show?
Hutch Jr., Lions season ticket holder, guys. Obviously, thanks, Dan, for having me on the show. Always post the clips of the show when I'm on my TikTok. It's the Kip Doctor. So if you guys want to go check it out, we always have recaps and stuff on there. And then obviously catch my Vibe Radio out of Jackson. Podcast will be coming soon. So maybe I can get you on there, Dan, and we'll talk some sports and stuff like that. So outside of that, guys, no, thanks for having me on the show again. And, I'm waiting for his training camp. I'm getting antsy. There's 96 Sundays until football. So I'm counting them down. I'm ready.
Right. All right, guys, if there's some breaking news later today, I'll try to get over to you as fast as possible. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're about, 70 subs away from 6,800. And if you enjoyed the video or the channel, hit the thumbs up button. It helps it out a lot. Other than that, take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you all on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.
Happy trails to you until we meet again.